changes to the squad. Stuart Armstrong comes in. How impressed have you been with him over the last 6 to 8 months?
Well, first of all, that I've been impressed for a while, because I think it's about 2 years ago that he was in the squad. So it's not like he's just come out on the radar. He's always been on the radar. So it shouldn't be as a big surprise to anybody, because he's been doing well. He's been doing it well at a high level, and he looks comfortable at the level he's playing in, which I like. And he's becoming a major figure in games, which I like as well.
You always talk about players being tested at the higher level. Is that where you can take more from players and how they play? Well, he's at Celtic, so can you take more from that?
Well, they can get more from that as well. They can get belief in themselves. You know, not only as playing against. I mean, hopefully the quality of the teams they've got to play against in the next few months will be even higher than they're playing now. It's also just dealing with the situation, dealing with the big game mentality, dealing with the pressure that comes along, dealing with the crowds, and that's something that the boys at Celtic have to deal with all the time, and Stuart's, as far as I can see, dealing with that well now.
How good is it to have Grant Hanley back?
Oh, it's always good to have him. But I think he's a top centre half, and a young centre half. I don't believe a centre half gets to the best between about 28 till about 34, because it's harder to know that position, defensive position that is an attacking position. So it comes more naturally, the attacking stuff. So we're delighted to have him back.
Have you missed him quite a bit?
In saying that, no really. But it makes our squad stronger. The people who have played, if you think about Martin and Mulgrew in the last game, absolutely fantastic. So it's great to have him back. It's great that it makes the squad stronger. And as I look at the squad, I'm delighted with the squad, the strength of the squad, and I'm also wary that I've had to leave out some players that are playing well. You know.
Just on that, no Barry Bannon, he's been in quite a lot of your squads. What was it thinking there?
Well, I spoke to Barry recently, and he's been injured, but he's not been getting games. You know, and at least last year he was getting games at Bolton, and it's been great for him, just for himself, to get games more regularly now, because I think he's at a stage of his career where he needs regular games. But as I said, he'll be a miss in terms of his quality and his personality about the squad. But I just felt at this time that there's other players who have pushed themselves forward, and I do believe they'll play more games as well, who can be useful in the 2 games coming up.
How pleased have you been with the start of the season that both James Forrest and Leigh Griffiths have made for Celtic?
Yeah, there's a lot of players I can be happy with. There's also a lot of players that you think, they're not getting a game just now. So you take all these things in consideration. Some players can deal when they're playing regularly. Some players have a problem with it. Going back to the 2 lads, yeah, we're happy. We're happy then, but as long as they're happy within themselves, then they bring a confidence to the squad.
You mentioned players who are not playing, and Leigh Griffiths clearly is playing regularly, whereas Stephen Fletcher has featured quite as much at the start of the season for Sunderland. So does he come into that?
He started the game previous. He didn't play on Saturday, but the game previous he started.
Would you be tempted to perhaps go with Leigh on the basis that he is maybe the striker in form?
I must be tempted. When in the squad, I must be tempted to play them. Anybody that's in the squad, I must be tempted to play them. And then I look at it. I look at their form. I look at how they look at training, and then look at who they've got to play against. So everybody got different assets. Every team has different weaknesses. So you take all these things into consideration.
There's always various factors to consider in terms of other results and things like that. But now with only 4 remaining, do you think, in terms of qualifying automatically, that we have to win in Georgia?
No. You never know what's coming. We'd like to win. Georgia would like to win. You never know what's coming around the corner. You never know when the real big game is. But it'll be a tough game. I think if anybody wants to know how Georgia are playing, have a look at the last video they played. And it's 4-0 Poland, but the 3 goals come in the last 6 minutes, I think. And if you really want to know how they're doing, watch that video, and you'll see how well they played in that game. And from that, then we realise what a tough game it's got to be. Under no illusions of that, that's for sure.
Talk about players playing at a higher level, Gordon. How pleasing is it to see the likes of the Norwich boys and Akechanya back in the English Premier League and starting encouragingly as well?
That's good, yeah. And Matt Ritchie is there as well. He playing very well, so it's good to see. But when you get a squad together, it's usually you have a lot of positives and 1 or 2 wee negatives in the players. It's not going to change. Some who are a wee bit negative about their game just now turned up recently very confident, and you have to deal with that and balance it out. But it's good to see that the players are doing well.
I'll just come back to Leigh Griffiths. He obviously made a step forward last week, getting his first start in the Champions League qualifiers. To get 2 goals in that game as well, how big a factor is that in his confidence and his readiness to...
I don't know, you need to ask him.
Do you believe the way he reacted to that, not being the team for a few weeks and coming in and hitting the ground and getting 2 goals, just shows the kind of step forward he's made?
I think you need to look at Leigh's progress from about, is it last year this time, when people talking about going on loan to Hibs. What he's did then is decide that no, I don't want to go on loan to Hibs, although it's one of his favourite teams, and he wanted to stay at Celtic and prove himself an asset there, which he's did. And that's got nothing to do with me, nothing to do with supporters, nothing to do with Roy Dyle. It's basically down to himself. And he decided that he was going to get a right good shot, which he's always had in his locker. He's a gutsy wee guy, and he's put himself in this position now that Ronnie likes what he sees. He likes what he does for the team, and I'm similar. But as I said, Leigh's been in our squad many a time, and in his own quirky wee way, he's a great addition on and off the pitch.
Has he showed a degree of maturity then, or is it just the fact of getting it in terms of what you want and what Ronnie Tyler wants?
First of all, it's what he wants, so it's where he wants to go, and that's what he's did. And I think he's made himself a better player. But you'd get that playing with good players, you'll get better. And as I said, that his movement is great. His first thought as a striker is try and get beyond people, which I think is fantastic. Not everybody's got that, and I think he wants to do that. But he's learning the game, the other side of the game now, which is great, and he's only learnt that because he's playing with good players. He has to understand that.
God, we were talking about Stuart Armstrong coming in, or coming back into the Scotland squad. How tough is it to get into this squad now? Because we're well underway in our campaign, and you like working
well,
with certain players and getting
it has to be tough to get into the squad because it's tough for me to pick a squad now. 2 years ago, it was quite easy. Now it's getting very, very hard. Now there's more meetings between me, Mark, and Stuart now than there was. Even last night we were sitting together at 9 o'clock. It's getting harder and harder. I hate to disappoint people, but in saying that, we've also made a lot of people happy over the last couple of years, been bringing them into the squad and giving them games. So it's a lot harder now. There's probably 10, 12 players out there who generally feel that, well, I could put them in the squad, it wouldn't make any difference, but you can't have that amount in your squad because it's unfair to them.
Shaun Maloney, there's talk of him coming back to the UK. Is that good for you in terms of him being back closer to home, or would it not have mattered if he stayed in the MLS because he's been such an important player?
Wouldn't have mattered. If you've seen his performance in the Republic, it doesn't matter where that boy plays. He's got a standard he sets for himself, so it doesn't matter where he plays.
Did you give Steve Bruce a recommendation?
I've spoken to Steve Bruce, yeah. I've spoken to Steve Bruce a couple of times over the last couple of years.
Stephen Naismith said that he might have to leave Everton if he's not playing regularly to make sure he's in the Scotland squad. Is that encouraging from your point of view? Players want to be playing to make sure they are in this squad?
It'd be nice to hear that Stephen's playing every game. That'd be nicer for me than he's happy what he was last year. But I think his priority is to play forever, the same as maybe Leigh Griffiths had last year. Get on with it. But one thing, whatever happened, where he thinks that anybody that picks him has got to get 100%, but it'd be me or Roberto, they've got to get 100%, so that's no problem. But it's nice to hear that the players want to play for. But I don't think that comes as any surprise to any of us.
Just on Celtic, Gordon, and getting into the Champions League, how big a bonus would it be for you if you have some of your international players playing at the highest level again?
Oh, it'd be fantastic. I think I go back to when Rangers and Celtic about 8 years ago. Rangers got to the final. Celtic were doing well, getting the last 16, nearly getting to the last 8, in fact. And it was beneficial. You can tell when you've seen Charlie Magoo handling Republic Island game after being out for so long. He's got the experience to deal with big games, and that's what Armstrong's getting now, how to deal with big games. And it's great if we could get more teams doing well in Europe. It's beneficial for me.
The top of the group as tight as it is, Gordon, what would your preference be in terms of the Germany-Poland result?
I've actually I don't think that way. I really don't. I just go, right, we've won or we've drawn. Where do we stand now? And I know it's a bit Neanderthal, but I've not got graphs and this and that and presentations to show you that might. But it's just a case get on with the game and see where we end up. My life's been like that. I've never planned to do anything in my life really. I never planned to be here when I was 18. I'm here. I'm enjoying it. And it's the same with the games. Let's get on with it and see where we get on. And let everybody else deal with us. Let everybody deal well with points total.
Colin, when we're on the home straight now, how do you stop the players looking ahead of themselves in that regard that you don't?
They've got so much going on as top players. You know, they play a game, we've got another one 4 days later. They've got big games at the weekend. It's non-stop for these lads. I don't think they think any further in the next game.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Ta.